Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to teamfortress.tv. I'm FrickMyNick. I'm joined by the BILLDOZER and Looster. We're going to be covering more of RGL Season 3 Invite. We got Dexter's Lab versus shie happening tonight. How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing pretty well, Nick. Thank you for asking. I'm excited to see some great TF2 being showcased between some great teams. Great teams that maybe were not necessarily around at the start of this season, but great teams nonetheless.
Yeah, the late edition of the revival of the shie roster, making it so we have a few more teams in Invite, stirring up the pot a little this season, along with the late edition of Dorsia. Swinging a reservation to Dorsia 2 weeks into the Invite season? How'd you manage that? But all memes aside, I'm expecting a pretty good game here tonight. We got Dexter's Lab versus shie, and we're playing on Process. It's a pretty standard pug map, so I'm excited to see.
Yeah, of course, Process being one of the staples of the TF2 competitive scene. You could put it on par with Badlands or Snakewater. Badlands being an old map for those of you newer players to the scene. And there's no question about matchups or map knowledge or anything like that. Everybody on this team should know this map like, the back of their hand. So we're going to see this come down really to straight up skill out of these players. And I'm excited to see what gets put on display for you all, the audience.
Yeah, so to kind of run down the rosters a little bit here, we have the newly formed shie roster. It's going to consist of Daffodil on Medic. It's going to be Esper and Legit on Scouts. Going to be Dingo on Roamer, Alexander's on Pocket, and Bull on Demo. So a predominantly new team. A couple of these people have kind of played around in Invite. Bull played the last couple of seasons for Dunk Masters as their demo. Alexander's and Esper played the last season, or second to last season of ESEA and Invite. And Daff making his return on Medic this season, so got some familiar faces, and Dingo's been a staple in Invite for a while, just making his return.
And then for the roster of Dexter's Lab, we have Toy on Medic, Exile, and Demo. Your soldier combo is going to be Ether and Mirrorman, and finally Midas and Jinx are your scouts. Personally, I think that Mirrorman is probably the more accomplished player on this team, but everybody's great. I personally also think that the scout combo of Dexter's Lab is mechanically pretty absurd. They're insane. Jinx and Midas, I can't wait to see what they do tonight. It's legit. Isn't it?
It's legit and Esper on shie, and then it's Midas and Jinx on Dexter's Lab.
Yeah, Midas and Jinx. I was thinking about it, right? Yeah, they're insane. Can't wait to see what they do. Process, big map, a lot of room for scouts to jump around and click on people or other classes. It could be a long game. Yeah. So it looks like we're going to be going live here. Let's follow Exile in this first mid, okay, Nick?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think from having watched Dexter's Lab play earlier in the season, Exile had a lot of impact, a lot on these mids, a lot. He made a lot of space for his soldiers to follow up on, so we'll see what Exile's able to do. Looks like he's arriving about just a little bit faster than Bull, but he's going to take a more passive position. Dingo's going to be rolling out fast, trying to find some early damage, but Dingo's going to get a ton of damage early. He's down so weak, he's instantly going to die. That's not what you want to see out of the side of shie, as they have to play this mid down one. It looks like they're instantly just going to leave, knowing that they don't fancy their chances on mid. They're going to try and use that cap time to help buffer their odds on 2 here, making it a 5v5. But it looks like Mirrorman's going to be going in for a sack, but Esper on the denial, not going to let him in for free here, as they're trying to shove in from the choke, but it looks like they're just going to back out, and it's going to be a reset here.
Yeah, we do have Ether getting real aggressive, trying to find a pick onto the red medic there. However, not going to be able to find it. And, this kind of thing happens a lot on Process. Soldiers like to get real aggressive. We do have a bomb in from Alexandros, not able to find anything onto the midpoint. As I was saying, Process is a mid. A lot of fun for soldiers to jump around.
Mirror's in. Mirrorman trades for Bull. Oh, he almost made it out there too. And yeah, this is something that we've seen from Dexter's Lab time and time again this season as they play Process. They like to keep up this pacing in the sack game where they send one soldier after another. And they're going to take an exchange here on point. They're going to see what Midas is going to be able to get out of this. Not going to find a ton here. Ubers are going to be ending at about the same time. Dingo's going to be bombing the choke point, making sure everybody leaves. Esper's down to just 2 HP and misses the surf onto the lead. Actually going to crater one down. They're going to trade it out for Ather though on one. But looks like there's going to be some passive positioning here for the side of shie, and it looks like Alexander's going to get left out to dry here. This is going to be Bull meeting up with Daffodil here, trying to hold last.
Yeah, and I am loving the aggression out of Dexter's Lab. They seem to know what they've got, and they're not afraid to whip it out for the players on the other team. Show it off as they are already getting cap time. This could be the first round getting wrapped up within the first 2 minutes of the game. And that's going to be Dexter's Lab taking the first round pretty handily.
Yeah, and really good aggression coming out of Mirrorman. He's able to trade for Bull at a couple of really crucial times where Bull needs to be alive. He's dying really early in this fight where he's not able to put out a lot of sustain.
Yeah, and that first round really facilitated mostly by the aggression out of Dexter's lab, not really creating any sort of advantages for themselves other than just pushing the other team out, as we are going to go into the second mid-fight. We are going to have it a little more even. No soldiers have gone down yet, and it looks like we're going to have this standard wrap mid that you tend to see on Process. Yeah. Not a whole ton of aggression coming out from either team. Soldiers looking for their opportunities to bomb forward.
Alexander's just destroyed Midas. Midas just got so smoked. He got directed out of the air and then air shot. Alexander's with a clean 2 rockets, generating his team an early pick. Jinx is going to die on the other side of things. They're going to get an absolute collapse of a mid. Oh, that was insane coming out of Alexander. Just a clean 2 rockets. It's what you want to see. But Mirrorman, oh, good body blocking from Dingo there, making it so there's no chance that they're able to get onto Daffodil. Daffodil's going to hold his Uber, and they're going to have full ad. They're looking to tie it up here. You know, they went down around early in the first couple minutes, but I think Ashis wants to show that they came to play today.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, as they're looking to try and use this full Uber advantage, this should be, you know, for all intents and purposes, it should be a pretty clean round. We do have Sniper Engineer hold up from Dexter's lab, looking to try and shut this down early as the Uber does come out from Ashi. Bull just trying to take some positioning above the point. Jinx coming out onto the heavy, looking to put out some damage into the push. And it looks like things are maybe falling apart for Ashi. We do have Dexter's lab a little bit split up, but they are going to be able to reconvene. They're going to be able to focus their efforts onto one side of the point. And we're going to see what looks like Ashi kind of being forced out here.
Yeah, they really didn't find anything with their Uber. They just went 5. They popped their Uber, but whoever the engineer was just switched off, and Esper and Bull kind of just hung out on the right side. They weren't really able to find anything on point, not able to get draw players or the cap. And with Bull still on the respawn here, and Toy coming up on their Uber very shortly, this is going to be an easy mid-take for Dexter's lab. So SC legit rolling out. We're going to see a bomb in from Dingo, finds a nice first rocket into Toy, but Toy's able to make it over to the IT area, and legit's going to die again, so not looking good here. They are going to get their Uber, so there's an opportunity for them to try and make something happen on 2, maybe take an exchange, try and slow things down. Mirrorman's going to be sacking in, jumping in to make some space, but Midas is going to die to the trap to Bull and choke.
Yeah, and you know, even with these 4 players down, if Ashi can manage to force out the opposing Uber and escape with everybody intact, that should make things much easier for them going into the last point. However, it's not going to happen yet. We are going to get spawns coming up for Ashi, and that means that when this fight finally does come out, it's going to be a little more comfortable for them. However, we're now in sort of a, I don't want to say stalemate, but we are forcing Dexter's lab to try and make a play happen here. And it looks like Ether's looking for his opportunity as he does go in, not able to find much more than 1 rocket onto a scout. We are going to see a counter set coming out shortly, but it looks like Ashi's
Alexander's is in. Really good first rocket on the Toy, but Toy with a really good surf. And yeah, I was going to say, that was a kind of a poor sack out of the side of Dexter's lab. They gave Ether absolutely nothing to work with. And,
it seemed a little
really
rushed. It seemed a little rushed, but considering it's 5...
but Mirrorman just trades with Esper, just hits 2 clean directs, gonna die to his own self-damage, and Bull's gonna get Jinx on the choke point, so not all is bad, because Alexander's just coming up on his respawn now, but yeah, I was gonna say, teams in Invite won't let you just get away with that, like, just throwing a soldier in, if you're not trying to make space, not trying to force, like, a fake bomb, not trying to spam, do anything, just throwing a soldier in is never gonna work in Invite. Teams are just too ready for it. It's
100%, and considering we're only 5 minutes into the half, and, you know, both teams were at 100%. There wasn't really a need. They could really take their time and figure out exactly how they want to do this. They can decide the sacrifice on their terms. As we do kind of see them now, we see them getting a little comfortable. We see Jinx and Ether kind of pushing the flank a little bit. Jinx maybe looking to give his life here possibly. No, he's going to get out. Ether's going to go down. And we do have the next sack coming out from Dexter's lab, and we're going to see how Ashi wants to try and work a counter sack of some sort. They're going to be aggressing here into the choke point, keeping an eye out for any soldier that could be trying to work some sort of sack. We do have Junie getting very aggressive, Dingo getting very aggressive in IT. He's going to back up, and it looks like Ether's going to be able to respawn without Ashi being able to really push their advantage in any way that would benefit them.
Yeah, neither of the soldiers really that healthy, so by the time that they would have been able to send a counter sack, and it's just too late, that Ether would have been spawned up and in a position to like help them on 2, or help them on mid, I'm sorry, and just would have given Dexter's Lab an opportunity for a free sack, but something kind of cheeky here. I think, yeah, Ether's showing himself in the IT area, but he actually held the door for Mirrorman, so Mirrorman probably not going to be, you know, wasn't peeking a ton of chokes as it was, but he's going to switch off the spy. I like this timing, but I think maybe it's a little late. And yeah, we have the soldiers spamming, and Mirrorman's going to make it in clean. They're going to send Jinx in as a sort of sack just to help kind of bait it out, make him think that there's not going to be a spot. But Daft's actually pushed up really far, and Alexander's is behind him, so we'll see if anybody's got their volume turned all the way up. As we're going to see Dingo on the counter sack. There's one less set of eyes. He's jumping in. They're going to miss it. He's actually going to get Bull. So that's a really good trade. 2 spam classes down. It puts a ton of pressure onto Alexander's here to try and hold this choke and try and find value, as they're going to pop in on the side of Dexter's Lab, but they're going to get a better Uber on the side of shie. And Alexander's going to make sure everybody's out of this choke point. And it looks like we're going to get another reset here with Bull and Dingo spawning in just 1 second. But it looks like Dexter's Lab wants to push the issue off this tiny advantage. Aether's going to get in on the flank for free. Going to find a decent first rocket into Daffodil. And Legit's weak as well, but Dexter's Lab doesn't really have that much space. Exile's kind of alone on the point. But he's going to surf that damage back, and it doesn't look like they're finding a ton of value. Aether is so weak, he's going to go down. It's going to be the first rag, but the soldiers on the side of shie are so weak. They're both out of this fight, but Dexter's Lab leaves, knowing that they have that round advantage. They don't have to take too many great risks.
And, you know, I can't help but feel as though Dexter's Lab is maybe rushing things a little bit. It's still so early in the match, and they seem so dead set on pushing their advantages as soon as possible. These respawn timers are not fast. You know, you're looking at 12, 14, 16 seconds on second point, when you still have to get out of last, you have to get to the players. You have time to take 5, 10 seconds to say, okay, how are we going to do this? Where do we want to go? We have Mirror going in, managing to get one solid rocket off onto Daffodil, not able to find a follow-up. And we could see shie trying to push this issue here in choke. Gonna decide to back off. They are looking for their situation that they can push in comfortably, and this is kind of the neutral game of TF2 here, not unlike, you know, what you might see in a game of Street Fighter or something when people are doing their footsies. You have just people trading random damage, seeing what they can find, and looking for a sort of opening that they can use to get in on the other team. But
yeah,
things
they're
have
looking
been
for like a set of eyes not being in the right doorway, or trying to catch somebody on like a weird rotation timing. They're
yeah,
really
I
looking
do
for
want to
anything.
mention real quick, not super urgent, round timer getting down to 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and you know,
Dexter's Lab,
I don't expect things to go another 5 minutes, but you know, it went 5 minutes in the first place, so it could really start getting urgent here in the next couple, where you need to get a point going, or else things are just going to sort of reset.
Both soldiers are going to dodge. This is really bad because Mirrorman's on sniper. One of the points I wanted to make is that Mirrorman is able to take pot shots now. They are going to pop in. They're going to make an exchange here on Esper, but there's an opportunity here for them to catch Daffodil as they're trying to leave. They're going to make it out in the lobby area, it looks like, but with no soldiers down, doesn't look like they fancy their odds. But Bull apparently didn't get the memo to get out, and he's going to go down. And once again, they're going to force him on the last as Dexter Lab. They're going to be holding 2. Ubers are going to be even, but with Bull being down, it puts a ton of pressure on the soldiers to try and hold these doorways and try and pressure the sniper. And if they pressure all the rest of the doorways on Dexter's Lab, there's surely going to be an opening somewhere.
Yeah, and Midas going down early is going to kind of... Midas and Jinx is going to pretty much halt Dexter's Lab in their traps. Soldiers from shie doing a great job of spamming out that one door. And we're going to see things... I thought they were going to slow down a little bit. Daffodil is out and running around on second point. It looks like shie wants to take the fight to Dexter's Lab. We see Dexter's Lab getting pushed out completely. Dingo does go down, but that's going to be a small price to pay to be able to recapture the second point and keep the likes of shie out from the threat of some sort of back cap scenario.
Yeah, but Alexander's is actually going to crater here. Oh, clean 2 rockets in from Aether is going to take down Daffodil, who's trying to surf to that shutter area. That's what you want to see. And finally, they kind of broke that neutral game. Both teams were kind of playing real safe, just kind of, you know, throwing players at each other, see where the trades were. Playing their revenge is really safe, but somebody finally went for it, and Daft's going to be the one who ends up on the losing side of that. They're going to pop their Uber, and they got positioning. Both scouts are on the point here. Soldier comes in to contest. They're going to get their spawns out, but not enough in time. It's going to be too little, too late, as it's going to be 2-0 here for the side of Dexter's Lab.
Yeah, and Exile just doing a fantastic job of locking out the left spawn door in that push, managing to take down both Legit and Esper in that, you know, completely locking out the scouts from any semblance of hold. So we're going to be going into this third mid fight. Bull taking the point early, or excuse me, taking the pack early, and able to lock out Exile pretty effectively. Not going to let him get the spam that he wants and keep shie from being able to aggress the way that they want to. So we have this return to a classic process, sort of whirlpool mid-fight, as both soldiers look for their opportunity to jump forward. Alexandro's getting kind of aggressive, and we do see Dexter's Lab getting pushed out by
everyone
shie,
on Dexter's Lab is so weak.
You know, we actually, for what it's worth, Dexter's Lab getting pushed into the shie choke, so that finds...
But they're going to cap. they're gonna let him cap, I think. Oh, they're barely gonna stop the cap in time.
Yeah,
I thought they were
nipple
gonna
hairs away. Nipple
Oh,
hairs.
they're gonna
FrickMyNick.
get it. They're gonna go. They're just gonna go. They're gonna leave mid. They're gonna go to the other teams too, and they can just outcap them from here. And yeah, Dexter's Lab is forced to try and make some sort of salvage play as they come in to take an exchange, but they end up losing so many players. They're gonna get a slightly better Uber, but with being down 3 guns at the end of this mid fight, it really doesn't benefit them, as it's gonna be Bull and Alexander trying to find picks on 2s. The rest of the team's gonna join. The Toy's gonna get caught out in this one area. Oh, gonna be trying to make it
There's
out.
no way Toy makes it out here.
Oh no!
Oh
Esper.
my god!
Oh, Esper with the
Okay.
last shot. But Daft dies on the other side of things. I didn't even see what happened. Somebody got in on the backlines and killed Daft, so it's gonna be a slight advantage. But
I'm not 100% confident that this isn't a good time to not go in because, yeah, we already have Ashi going in. We're gonna have a scout on point, and that's not really
It's
something
just
that can be so easily stopped. Yeah, Exile's not able to cover enough ground with the limited range of the stickies when it's just him, and that's gonna be Ashi taking around. Now a 2-1 favored Dexter's Lab going into the 4th midpoint. What do you want to see here, FrickMyNick?
I want to see exactly what you saw in the last mid from Ashi, where they play very together and they play very tight in the rotation game. And Dexter's Lab, Ether's going to be in so weak, he's not even going to hit the ground. He's going to get pistoled out of this guy. Some good pistol there, but Dingo's getting a bunch of damage on the other side of things, but he's actually going to make it out. And we saw exactly what happened on the first mid, but mirrored
We
on
have
the Jinx
Jinx
here.
really pushing into
Oh,
Daft.
Jinx gets Daft,
getting
though.
Daft. Daffodil getting completely abandoned by his own team. And that's going to put Toy up with, you know, Daffodil not up for another 10 seconds. That's going to be an easy 100% Uber advantage for Dexter's Lab. And, you know, Ashi get the midpoint, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be holding it for much longer. I would say another 15 seconds or so before Dexter's Lab comes in and tries to force the issue. Looks like they're trying to push through IT right now. Dingo actually managing to trade out with Exile in IT, and that's going to make things a little bit easier for Ashi, but not so easy that they can comfortably hold this midpoint.
Yeah,
And
they're
in
going to
fact,
pop through
Bull
the IT
is
area,
gonna
but they
get caught
catch
out
Bull.
too. That's huge.
Yeah, but that was really poor because everybody else on the rest of their team was already out when Bull was just staying in. He had plenty of time to leave there. I'm not sure if he got juggled or what exactly his situation was, but that's really poor. It's a really poorly timed death. As we're going to see a haphazard fight on mid here. They're going to trade a Dem or a Soldier for a Scout here, so decent trades. And knowing that they hold the point, so they have spawn advantage on the side of Ashi, so the longer they make this fight, the better is for them. But it looks like they're so indecisive in this choke point. They're just staying there. They're gonna come in and stop the cap now that Bull is here, but Aether's gonna bomb in, trying to capitalize on the weak players rolling out. But some smooth moves not gonna catch him this time, as Daffodil's gonna be coming up on their Uber here.
Yeah, you know, it felt like Dexter's Lab was maybe a little hesitant. Obviously you can't just commit to everything all the time in this game. However, I think the Dexter's Lab could have afforded to have played the high ground a little better and say, hey, you guys don't want to commit to this. Let's get the cap while we can. But they really decided to feather the point a little bit. And then when they barely got more than half the cap. And getting that much of the cap doesn't really mean anything in this game until you get 100%. So that's going to leave Ashi with the mid advantage. And even Ubers, it is now their turn to try and send in a player to get some sort of Uber out. And we do see Dingo pushing in pretty aggressively into the upper IT. He's going to grab Ether with the help of Esper. Esper's going to go down to Midas. And that's going to stop some sort of need for a counter sack. Wow. I try and say these things. There's so much aggression coming out of both of these teams. They both want to push the envelope, push the issue, see what all they can get here. We do have spawns coming up in 2 seconds, and that's going to mean another round of playmaking out of these teams, Nick.
Yeah, and Ether is on Spy, at least in Spawn. I think Ether is committed. Yeah, Ether's going to commit out of Spawn, so we have another Spy player coming out of here from Dexter's Lab. It's something that I think they've cooked up. They're one of their go-to plays. We're going to see a really deep bombing from Alexander. It's not going to find much damage in Toy at all, though. Got it really deep, pretty clean, but not going to find the rockets on that one. I must say, when they shove their heels into IT, I want to give Daff a shout out there. He had some really good arrows to keep both of his soldiers alive, despite the fact that Dexter's Lab was doing so much damage to them.
Ether possibly showing himself on IT. He was certainly walking around uncloaked, but that doesn't necessarily mean that.
He also ate a spam rocket. He's actually missing 24 health, which is like the...
Nothing that Ashi is doing suggests that they noticed it.
Yeah.
They don't seem to know that there's a spy yet.
The angle that Dingo's holding there, he's not able to see very deep.
You know, for a roaming soldier, that is El Clasico, just shooting down in there. I can't blame them for not.
Man in the chat, he says, "Come sewer" with a face in it, and there's just stickies on the sewer door. The 900 IQ bait and switch from Mirror Man. I love it. Just trying to buy some time. And Ether's actually going to decloak, but instantly going to get find out. And it's going to be another failed spy attempt. I don't know if they'll be able to really break that one. Oh, Ether apparently wasn't disguised, as he's saying in chat. So, an opportunity for a counter-sack. Alexander's going to jump in, but not really going to have much follow-up. He's going to rebomb on his own. He's going to jump out. He's going to make it out. What is going on in this game?
It's certainly been a very interesting game. We do have bombs coming out from Dingo, looking to try and see what room he makes. Dingo, interesting player for those of you that are new to the scene. You could certainly say that he has a very storied history, but you know, you can't say that he isn't good at this game. He's a fantastic player, and he definitely deserves to be where he is. Just he's a guy. He's a real character.
Yeah, we're going to see the double sack here out of Shie, but a third one's going to go down. They're going to lose Alexandros. So it's going to make an exchange on mid, but being down 3 sets of gun doesn't favor them very much. And looks like they're just going to be making it out from the choke point. Dap with a good surf on the tail end of that Uber. Going to make sure they make it out of that one. Going to be trying to meet up with all their spawners. ×9 on mid, as Dexter's Live really wants to cap this midpoint. But they're going to get it. Ubers are going to be even. It looks like once again we are going to be just evening out here. Gonna have another reset. Cookie cutter classes, even Ubers.
Yeah, Bull actually managing to force out that last Uber with some hero pipes. But we have Dexter's Lab getting, first of all, early trap kill onto Dingo. But second of all, it looked like they wanted to see if they could work something sewer, which I guess they did. Not really maybe the game plan going forward. Ether doing a counter-sack of sorts, not able to find anything of note, and we are going to see things slow down just a little bit again, down to 11 minutes on the half-timer. Not, you know, once again, not anything that needs to be concerned about, but, you know, it's something that's going to need to be thought about eventually because while Dexter's Labs does have the point advantage and one more round will close out the half, it does not necessarily mean that they'll be the ones capping the next round. So we could very well go to time here, and it's something that needs to be you know, it can't be forgotten about.
Yeah, Ather's going to come up on the sniper again, so I think they're kind of spinning the wheel of fortune as on the other side of things, Shie is just, here we go again. What are they throwing at us? They throw another soldier sack, they throw another spy play, but the last time they were in this situation, they were able to pick both the soldiers on the side of Shie, and the sniper was able to output a lot of damage on the demo, and with the absence of the soldiers, they weren't really able to find a lot of value. So they're actually going to pick Jink on this one, so really good starting pick. It looks like they're going to find their way out of sewer, as Ether's just going to be watching the flanks here. Their flank is really open though, and it makes it so it's really hard because you either have to give up the soldier that's trying to hold choke, as yeah, Bull's got a 2-pipe Midas, so that's really good 2 pipes, and yeah, Dingo's instantly going to be pushing in, but he's going to get a sticky and he's going to get body shot as well. Exile with 2 clean kills, so it looked like a really good scenario for Shie. It's actually going to become a really good scenario for Dexter's Lab here, as does it look like Daffodil's going to make it out of the choke, gets headshot.
Daffodil getting dropped by Ether. And, you know, you don't need to worry about the flank of Dexter's Lab being open when Exile can just shut down the entire flank himself. Mirror Man getting a stick kill onto Esper. Alexandros going down to the scout combo of Dexter's Lab. And it looks like they're going to be able to take second point pretty cleanly and without too much of a fight from Shie. Shie really seeming to struggle a bit there from the off-classing push of Dexter's Lab, but Dexter's Lab is going to have to try and find their way in now, taking down the sentry gun of Legit pretty easily, and having about a 50-60% advantage going into this means that very shortly we're going to see Dexter's Lab pushing in, and they're going to have pretty much the entirety of the game on their side to try and close out this round. However, much stranger things have happened in this game than a team screwing up a full Uber ad. So we're going to see the Uber coming out of Dexter's Lab. Exile getting some sticks onto point early. Not any time on point. Exile making a very aggressive bomb across spawns, taking Bull's attention away while we see Midas on the cap. Nobody
that
stops
was so
Midas.
Winnable for
He's
Shie.
able to, yeah, that, you know, I can't blame Bull for paying attention to Exile. You know, Exile jumped into the opposite side heaven, and he presented himself as an immediate threat to anybody that wanted to spawn. However, there were other people up, and, you know, for as much of this game is spent clicking on other people, it's not won by filling up the kill feed with white or whatever. You win the game by capping the point, and if you can't stop that, then, you know, you can't close out the round.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as to put it in another class-based shooter terms, that's a letter number right there. It's a C9. Nobody got on the point. They
It's
had
a
player advantage too.
C9.
That was just really unfortunate, but it was really good for the side of Dexter's Lab. Exile was able to create so much pressure that nobody was paying attention to Midas. He's able to shoot the stickies off point, make himself enough of an opening that when Bull dead, he didn't die, and was just able to cap it out. But on the other side of things, though, like Shie was doing a really good job. They didn't really find much with their Uber. They did a really good job of kiting that out, but Dexter's Lab in the post fight just looked a little better and was able to edge it out with the addition of that cap time. But I think in general, though, we're seeing some good signs of life out of Shie. Like, this is a very new roster. Like, there's, some people played together. Like, I know Alexandros has played with Bull and Esper previously on different teams, and Daft's played with Bull and other teams. But comparatively, Dexter's Lab, the majority of this team played together for an entire season. And so they played, I mean, it was a while ago, but they played together for an entire season. So they have that kind of pre-existing synergy, and you don't necessarily lose that once you kind of bring back all the pieces. And especially a player like Mirman, who's continued to play, kind of brings another wealth of experience kind of back to that original like standing synergy that they had. And I think that, extra synergy is starting to show, especially when these fights kind of devolve at the end. They just seem a little more collected.
Yeah, and nobody would say that this match wasn't close. It seemed pretty hotly contested between the two teams, but in this first half, at least, it did seem that there was a team with a clear. I don't even want to call it anything concrete. It just seemed like Dexter's Lab was more confident. Going into these fights, they seemed to be a little more comfortable taking these fights. They seemed to be a little more comfortable pushing in. But there were times where Shie looked, like they were really ready to take this on and they were ready to win the game. And, those were some of the times where they looked the best. This does not seem out of reach for Shie, but, they kind of need to I don't have a really good phrase that's stream friendly. Sorry.
Yeah, I would say I don't know. It's really easy to be like, yeah, just do better, do the things you're doing, but better. I definitely think this will be.
They need to big dick it, Nick.
Get that.
It's not really
BD
stream
energy.
friendly, but I wasn't gonna tiptoe around the issue anymore.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they just kind of have to go for it. Like I said, it's tough because Aishi is a very new roster. They kind of hijacked this roster from one of the previous teams that was going to sign up to play Invite. So I think they're going to be taking this halftime, to kind of really talk about things, what they were noticing, like what can we do better. I actually really like this team, though, because they have a wealth of experience. You have somebody like Daff and Dingo who have both played multiple classes in Invite for a fair amount of time. And then you have a couple players like Bull and Alexandros and Esper who have a little bit of Invite experience, but not the same wealth of experience. They've shown that, they kind of belong in Invite. And then you also have new players like Legit that are very moldable. So I think there's a lot of potential for this team. They just kind of have to figure out what their stride is and kind of have to put it together.
I'm glad that you used the phrase moldable, because I was really looking at the scout combo of Shie, and I was picturing like an old ugly lump of clay that was ready to be turned into a beautiful pot or vase or whatever. What do you make out of clay?
You can make a lot of things out of clay.
But it's definitely Shie definitely is a scout combo that can be brought to a mirror shine by the players that they're associated with in this season. And I this match and in future matches, I look forward to see how high that these players can go.
Yeah, and to kind of take a peek at the stats, so we are going to be going live, but your top damager in the server is actually going to be Bull, and your top fragger is going to be Esper, so it's not like they're not doing well on the side of Shie. Like I said, I think they just really need to find their stride and kind of put it together a little bit more, and I'm hoping they'll find that in the halftime talk. And who do you think the players to watch are going to be in the second half or on these mids, Bill?
I want to say the scouts of Shie are going to be important. Process is a map that's... Soldiers can do a lot of cool stuff, so you kind of got to rely on your scouts to keep things from getting too crazy. So as we go into this fifth mid fight, we're going to have Dingo going down early, which seems to be an issue that's plagued Shie, and not just mid fights, but regular fights.
Daff just face checked Mirror Man and lived. Daff was down to literally 1 HP. Oh my god, Daff lived the mid.
That is Daffodil RGL head admin to you, FrickMyNick.
That was absolutely incredible. Mirror Man
He's in cahoots with the guys running the servers or whatever.
Something like that, yeah.
He knows the deal, and they know what's up.
Yeah, there's maybe
SV cheats 1.
Hold on, let me check Daft's PayPal interaction to make sure he's not sending any money over to Fear Man. But as they're gonna be pushing in, Daft did live the mid, but the trap from Exile! Oh, they did such a good job at making sure Daft lived the mid. Daft was barely able to squeak it out just to drop it on the floor. Spaghetti down, boys. As it's going to be a wholesale sellout here. It's just going to be seeing if they can find anything on Toy. Toy's pretty weak, and Race Car stayed at mine. It's going to be Andros.
Toy.
Yeah, I was going to say, they went for the wholesale sellout, and they find at the very end. They found the last ones. They found the Tolo Claper at the end of the road.
Yeah, and it ended up just being, who was it? Jinx alive at the very end there. He's going to be the one that was able to close out the mid-fight after a second round of fights. However, Toy's just going to be coming up now. 30% on Daft. Not necessarily enough to try and say that you can do much off of it yet. We're going to see Ashi trying to push out the likes of Dexter's Lab, who looks like they're going to be pretty successfully corralled back into the choke point. Kind of a scary place to be. And, we do have Ether really getting behind, going all the way back to Ashi's spawn. Kind of having his own little adventure back there, while Ashi's going to say, alright, you have fun doing that, and we're just going to run forward and play the actual game. Looks like they're trying to find their opening here, back to this sort of neutral game. As we do see Alexandros go in, this is the equivalent of throwing out a Hadouken in the neutral game, Nick. Where you're just trying to push people around, trying to get them to be a little predictable in their movement. Not going to fool Dexter's Lab, going to take out Alexandros without too much of a fanfare. And we're going to see things possibly slow down a little bit here. Legit, just coming up in 5 seconds, going to be there to possibly fight Dexter's Lab as they come in. And,
yeah, but I think Dexter's Lab will kind of get this for free, especially with that late death of Alexandros, and they tried to push into mid on the side of Ashi, but they really found nothing with their Uber, and with the traded frags with Dexter's Lab holding mid, they were able to just kind of hold on to the Uber. They played their spawn advantage, and they're going to get 2 for free here. Daft's on 80% though, so Daft's building really well right now. They have about a 5-second window to try and make something happen here with the Uber. They're going to be running in, they're going to be trying to find damage on that soldier. Not going to find much, not finding a lot with this Uber. They're going to get the stickies off point, but Jinx trades his life for that one, and Daft's going to get his Uber, going to pop it off right away. Doesn't want to make sure people are unhealthy to try and fight this. Ather's actually in the upper area, making a lot of space for his team, but it doesn't look like Dexter's Lab fancies this fight, especially with Toy going down earlier in the fight, so they're going to be trying to make some salvage plays happen, as Midas is going to go in, send one out for the boys. Exile with a crazy surf out. He's going to get chased down by Legit. Legit with 2 really good cleanup frags. It's going to make it so they're going to take 2 with ease, maybe even get into mid completely for free here.
They should get mid off of this, because Exile's not up for another 5 seconds. The point's just getting capped now. Exile's spawn getting reset to 11 seconds. So Dexter's Lab really has no way to try and lock out. You're right, Jinx is in forwards on Sniper. However, Daft is long gone from that sight line, and they're going to be able to take mid without too much issue at all. Ether coming up in 10 seconds. That's a lot of spam from Dexter's Lab that's not going to be able to apply to the choke point just yet. So we see them kind of backing up. They have this 2-round buffer to work with, whereas Ashi is pushing forward pretty aggressively. Looks like Mirror drops Daft. Oh my god. Dingo goes down. Toy goes down in the back as well. And this is just an absolute scrap fight. Things can go any which way. Esper's still alive. He's going to get the health pack. We do have him alive in the back. Going to go down to Midas. We do have Legit fighting as well. Going to get cleaned up by Midas as well. Midas kind of shutting the door on this possible last push for Ashi single-handedly. We're going to see them recapping mid-fight here, or the midpoint here.
And I think that's exactly what I mean, though, what I was talking about at the halftime, where Ashi doesn't look quite as put together, because Daft dropped that Uber, right? So, I mean, obviously, Spaghetti's going to hit the fan
that's an individual play, and nobody could dispute the individual skill of Ashi's
But Toy
team.
died immediately afterwards. They were able to trade out the frag, but you just saw at the end of that fight, you had 4 players alive when the fight kind of devolved for the side of Dexter's Lab, and only 2 scouts up, neither of which were particularly healthy for the side of Ashi. So when it was all said and done, there was just a big advantage, and like I said, they just seemed more put together. And I think they're just kind of playing their game a little more. They're just like, hey, we're playing here, we're shooting this thing a little better. Ubers are going to be even coming in a second, but once again, we see Dexter's Lab in the driving seat as they hold mid.
Yeah, and I see both soldiers getting buffed up, moving into the IT area, possibly looking to run some sort of sack soon. I would not be surprised to see a soldier go in, possibly Ether, and then to see them respawn. Excuse me, there goes Mirror, being a big rocket. not able to follow it up onto Daff. So he's going to be spawning in 13 seconds. I would not be surprised to see some sort of sniper play here, possibly out of Ether, possibly out of Jinx. But we doesn't look like Ashi is going to be really pressing this advantage too aggressively, other than Junie getting a little ballsy, Dingo getting a little ballsy in IT. But yeah, it looks like things are just going to settle down to the way that they were. Ether coming up, jumping his way back to point. And yeah, I don't have an epic, clever transition phrase here, so FrickMyNick, speak please.
Yeah, we're just going to see Dexter's Lab once again. We'll see what they've been cooking up in Scrim, see what they've been experimenting with. It looks like they're going to try and go for this IT shove play again. Maybe it's just a ploy to see if they can get somebody through, but they have both their soldiers there, but they don't really have their heals. So Ether's not going to find very deep. He actually goes down to just 18 HP, but he's going to make it out on this one. But I'd like to see them try and throw something else in with what they're doing. They really aren't doing much. It's not like they're bombing a player through choke. Legit's going to be bombed by Mirror Man, but Mirror Man's going to go down, finds the business end of 2 scatter guns there. They're pressured Dingo in the IT area, but he's going to make it out. And Jinx dies on the other side of things, so really good counter bomb here for Dingo. I'm going to see the exchange come in from Midas, but it doesn't even look like Daft's going to have to pop. Nobody on his team is really that hurt. And yeah, they're just going to be charioting this into mid. Going to eat some damage in the choke point from some of this spam, but they're going to get into mid for free. And yeah, they get all the way into mid for free without having to pop. This is so good from the side of Ashi.
I just saw Dingo get rocked over on the mid fight, not really going down or anything. Bull going to be jumping in very aggressively into Dexter's Lab. Esper's going to follow up on those sticky bombs and take out Toy without too much of a fight. Midas goes down, Ether goes down. Dingo's going to be traded out on the flank, however, that's not really a big deal considering the advantage that Ashi just created for themselves. 3 players up for Dexter's Lab. Just coming up now is Toy and Midas, but that may be too little too late, as we're going to see Ashi getting onto the point pretty aggressively. Bull getting that huge sticky bomb damage, killing Jinx, taking down Exile to extremely low. Are Ashi going to be able to close this out? I'm not sure that they will.
Oh, legit dies. Exile's clutching. Oh my gosh, Exile got 4 pixels in that fight. That looked so good for the side of Ashi. They were able to get in on a 3-player advantage, but on Dexter's Lab, they fought so much time just delaying people, not letting them get on the point for free. Exile's going to try and chase down Daft, but Daft's going to make it out, so Ubers are actually still basically even here. But yeah, that was such a good opportunity for Ashi, but Exile was coming out clutch. They just threw too many players on the point in sequence. They got to kind of spread that out, force the demo to waste all his ammo.
Yeah, you know, it was a real clincher there, Nick, and I want to use the phrase again. It's an important piece of TF2 history is nipple hairs. That's how close that Ashi were to capping that point, how close they were to closing out the round and taking their round deficit to just a single round. We're getting down to 20 minutes left in the half, not anything to be particularly concerned about. The Uber is going to come out from Daffodil, going to come out from Toy as well, pretty late in this, and we are probably going to see things work out just a little better for Dexter's Lab. Bull managing to dodge about 6 air shots there. And we are going to see Ashi being pushed out. Exile going to be, you know, walking forward. He knows the deal. He knows what is and is not happening in this fight. And what isn't happening is Ashi stopping them from capping the midpoint.
Yeah, I was going to say, that looked like a pretty good opportunity for them to try and take an exchange. I think Daft thought he had advantage, but the fact that he got alone, man, he only had about a 2% advantage, so it's really not pushable. And then they walked in from choke, but legit peaked IT, and there was a soldier close, and, you know, fighting a soldier in a tiny doorway when it's that close isn't favorable for you, and Esper died in the choke point when they walked in, so it ended up just being Bull and Daft on point. And they took a not the greatest exchange. They tried to make it out, but there was no making it out of that one. At least nobody got frag movied. That you got to cut your losses there, I think, if you're Ashi. But 100% advantage, or 100% here for Toy. Only about a 20% advantage for them as they make their way into the point. Daft's at 90%, but they catch Bull. That's huge. A demo is so important for holding a last like process, especially one that's so open where you need that sustained damage from your demo man. They're gonna pop through this one area, but Daft already has his Uber. They're gonna make it a bit of a multi here, as Alexandros is actually gonna pick Exile up in the one area, so they're gonna trade out that demo advantage. And both the scouts are so weak on the side of Dexter's Lab, and it's just gonna be a reset here, I think.
Yeah, and Exile going down there is actually probably gonna shut down Dexter's Lab entirely. As it looked like they had a real opportunity to try and push in there, but no demo means no point cap. More or less, when you're doing that kind of even fight, you kind of need that pressure on the point that your scouts can really push. Exile going to be getting back with his team right now, and
Bull,
did I
Bull
miss
a clean
something?
couple of fights. Yeah, I really don't know what went on there. She just got aggressive in the
Suddenly,
lobby area, and they got farmed.
4 players, 5 players from Ashi went down. Dexter's Lab really pushing in intelligently. They were able to find the kills. Here's a question for you, Nick. What are you drinking tonight?
What am I drinking tonight? I'm just drinking water right now, to be
Oh
honest.
my gosh, you disappoint me. Alright, going into this 5th mid fight, Bull playing far right side. We see everybody on Ashi pushing pretty aggressively into the far right. Maybe a little faster than Dexter's Lab can. So we're going to see a lot of spam going across the point from Ashi. Lots of aggression. We are going to have Exile going down first. That's never what you want in a mid fight, especially on process, where this point is so divided. We're going to see the likes of Dexter's Lab just getting shredded by this fantastic aggression out of Ashi. And now we have Dexter's Lab caught in the choke. Caught in the choke. Bull's going to manage to take down Toy. Esper's going to manage to drop Midas. And it's really just Jinx hanging around in the back here.
Yeah, Jinx is on the other team's second. He's behind them really
looking
deep.
for some sort of heroics from him is a tall order. Maybe he can win a 1v1. However, we're going to see Ashi pushing forward pretty cleanly into the second point of Dexter's Lab.
Yeah, and I want to see Ashi make some adjustments to their Uber. They've been trying to go in from like the 5-4 area, but they've struggled a lot with trying to get things with their Ubers. And they're not really setting themselves up for success. There are little things that are going wrong in this last. Dingo's gonna come in from the 5 area, eat so much damage.
Daffodil going down. Oh my god.
Daff just dropped to a spam pipe. That's so unfortunate if you're Daff. I saw
RGL and Daffodil, you can't be doing that, man.
Oh, Toy down to 1 HP again. Oh, the medics this game have had such insane lives in a couple of these scenarios where, they're down to just single digits of HP, barely living. And in that scenario, was Toy lived a spam pipe, and I think a spam roller was just 1 HP. Can it hold on to that 50% advantage that they're hoping to look to close the game out here?
Yeah, that's
they're trying to make their way into mid.
This is really gonna put Ashi on the back foot. That's gonna. I want to say that this has become really Dexter's Lab's game to win. That is gonna be hard to come back from that kind of. Ashi had everything going right for them, and then I can't, of course, put that on a player. When you're pushing out 5, that's such an awkward.
They're gonna pop in from
angle.
lower IT.
Ooh,
Dexter's Lab's gonna get in. They're gonna find Bull, and they're gonna find
Midas
Alexander.
getting
So
skyboxed.
yeah, Midas is way up in the sky, but it looks like Dexter's Lab will try and make
gonna
them
have his Uber here. 4 players is enough to hold this if you have an Uber.
Soldier's in on the Daff. They're gonna pop his Uber. This is actually so
bomb.
good. But Toy with the jukes. Asper just gave up. Asper had such a good Uber in the lobby area, but just wasn't able to find any damage on the Toy. And Toy's just gonna make it out, sitting pretty. They're gonna have another 40% advantage here, so they have control of 2, but they are down their flank here. Mirror Man and Midas are gonna be down. They're gonna trade out Esper for Aether here, 1-for-1. But again, there's advantage here for the side of Dexter's Lab. They're gonna be super happy to give up this point. They're gonna go for another push opportunity on the 2 here.
Yeah, Ashi really, it's on them to try and make something happen here because, oh, excuse me, a little too much to drink earlier.
They're gonna see a pop in from
Dexter's Lab having everything going their way. Dingo's even gonna go down early. Their Uber comes out, maybe a little early in the grand scheme of things. I would not be surprised if Daffodil is able to get
Exile
this
just 2
point.
pipes Esper in lobby though. Exile just did a crouch set from lower lobby deep into the 5 area and just 2-piped Esper, absolutely destroyed.
Exile goes down. Daffodil's going to be coming up on his Uber within the next few seconds, and that's definitely going to be enough to try and hold this last point with pretty comfortably. Toy even, up in another 50%. That's possibly going to be enough space for Ashi to try and push out into the second point.
Did they know about it? Jinx is going to last, and after trying to delay.
Such a heartbreak if this is how this match ended.
They're stopping 2. Are they able to stop 2 for enough time? Yes, they are. Jinx is going to cap it out. Bit of a cheese play. The Euro gimmick's coming out, but they are going to win the round. It's going to be 5-1 here for Dexter's Lab.
That's the way that the game goes sometimes. I'm not going to pretend like it isn't. I've lost games because of, some scout backcapping on process last, but from a caster's perspective, I sure would have liked to have called a fight there at the end.
Yeah, but a dub is a dub. At the end of the day, that's what they're playing for, and
these matches aren't scripted. I'm not gonna tell these guys how they should or shouldn't play. If you win the game, I cannot fault you for that.
Wait, these aren't scripted?
All right, so at this point, you're gonna high bomb, and then Alexandros is gonna airshot you twice. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Midas is the one who got that memo. I don't know if he can hide bomb on Scout necessarily, but he definitely caught those rockets on that mid. Go back and clip that if you want some free TFTV up frags. So it's going to be a 5-1 game here. I think Ashi looked really good, but again, there was just a little more, cohesion, just a little more foundation to work with on Dexter's Lab.
I think the game was a little closer than the score would belie. Ashi didn't look like they were that far behind, but I've said this before, TF2 is really a game of inches. You're pushing these relatively tiny advantages that in a lot of other games you wouldn't be able to necessarily push that the way that you can in this game. And in these little bits that are accumulating over the course of 36 minutes, you saw that more often than not, it was Dexter's Lab coming out on top, and that's what you see resulting in this 5-1 score at the end. So, standout players in this game, looking at the logs right now, you have your top damager still being Pole, a little low on the frag count, but that's, for a demo man, that's not the most important. Speaking of frag counts, you do have Exile, the opposing demo man, leading. So, you can kind of make your own assumptions on who's really contributing more to that game. But you had Exile leading frags. You also saw Midas doing some great stuff, pulling off a big 26. And overall, great game. Dexter's Lab played very well. And epic gamer stuff.
Yeah, something I want to point out too is despite the fact that Daff had 3 drops, right? But he had 9 deaths. He was only 1 more death than Toy. If Daff had popped the Zuber, he actually would have had less deaths than Toy. So I think despite the fact that Daff's team lost, I think Daff actually played very well on Medic, which is good to see because he's played Soldier the last few seasons, and sometimes when people switch classes and they switch back to their mains or whatever, maybe there's a little bit of rust or people take time off and they just don't look as good as on the original classes. But I think Daff actually played very, very well on Medic.
Yeah, absolutely. Or optionally, does that speak to Daffodil's survivability, or that maybe Toy was dying a little more often than he should necessarily?
I mean, it's kind of a story of the chicken and the egg. I think it's all, I think it's a little bit of both, but I think at the end of the day, like I said, Daff played very well on Medic. I think Toy did as well. I mean, both of them had very clutch moments where they were living with just single digits of HP. Toy had that lobby Uber that, Toy just got Ubered on and juked the crap out of Esper. So, really good play from the medics all around. It's what you want to see.
Yeah, of course, I can't really fault anybody on that on either team for their individual performances, because TF2 is a lot more than an individual performance. And anybody who's here in the stream has just watched the match itself. You can really talk about what was going on that particular front.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we are gonna see. Let's take a peek here at the standings. Let's pull up the old league table. Let's see where this puts people, because we're kind of at the halfway point in the season. I think Invite's a little behind because teams kind of got added and things kind of got reshuffled a little bit. But so this puts Ashi at 6th overall. They're still above the microwave, but they have 1 more game to play. They actually have the same amount of rounds won, and they're actually 5 rounds ahead in terms of round loss. So they could lose that game 5-0 and be perfectly tied with them. And that puts Dexter's Lab at 2-4 now, and actually puts them in that 4th place spot. So I think the original Ashi team and Dexter's Lab were kind of 2 of those teams that were playing for that, that last playoffs invite spot. And I think with the addition of Dorcia, it kind of puts a little more in it. But as of right now in the standings, Dexter's Lab is in that spot.
Hold on, I'm pulling up the league table myself. I'm trying to remember which team Microwave is. Bear with me. Microwave is the Rakusa
It's the
team.
Sky and Shibu team, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, what Nick said.
But yeah, like I said, I think this is a match that if you're Ashi, like you're coming into the season just trying to stir things up, you're trying to stir the pot. You have some newcomers, you have some old comers, but and if you're Dexter's Lab, you're really trying to cement yourselves as one of those top teams. You have a lot of players that have a fair amount of experience on them. You got some players coming back this season. They really want to show that, they've got they're up to snuff still, even though they've had some time off from the game. And I think that's exactly what you saw tonight. Shie showed some signs, they've got some stuff to look forward to. If they can clean up their play a little bit, I think that could easily be like a 4-3 game either way.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's going to be a long season. We're in week 5?
I think we're in week 5?
Week 4? I think this is week 4.
My one of my favorite quarantine memes, it's Monday, or as I like to call it, it's Thursday. It's someday.
We're still in March, for all I know.
I mean, honestly, yeah, a lot of stuff didn't really happen for 3 months. Let's be honest.
The decades that I've lived through is 2000. I was born in 1995, lived through 2000 and 2010, lived through 2010, 2020. Then I also lived through March of 2020.
Yeah, it's a good one. But, memes aside.
Wash your hands, gamers. We're not done with this yet. Things aren't getting better.
Yeah,
I'm in Texas, and we're literally like the COVIDingest state in the country.
I would maybe tend to agree, but I think Florida's got you beat as of recent.
Oh, no. As of recent, we had like 4,500 people admitted today, and I don't trust Greg Abbott.
That's not
that's
based
a whole
as
other
the
thing.
kids.
I'm not gonna,
it's another can of worms. We're gonna get off topic here.
It's not stream. I don't want to say stream friendly because that implies that it's inappropriate, but.
It's not what we're here for.
We're here for
Epic
Games. And if you like Epic Games, be sure to follow Team Fortress TV on Twitch. Follow us on Twitter, too. And if you want to see more great discussions like this, go to youtube.com/theBILLDOZER.
Yeah, selfless plug here. But yeah, I'm going to give a quick shout out to Looser200 on the production, the man behind the scenes who makes all the magic happen. So
he's the Jiminy Cricket whispering in our ear the entire cast. But we wouldn't be here without him.
But yeah, so shout out to Looster. I think that's all I've got for tonight. So I want to thank everybody for stopping by. This has been Team Fortress TV. This has been our coverage of RGL Season 3 Invite. This has been Dexter's Lab versus Shie, and I hope everybody has a good night.
Y'all have a good night, y'all.